It's so good to see you all here. My name's Olga, and I'm the Director of Content Marketing and Animatron. I can hear myself. Oh, hi.
I can hear you.
You can hear me just fine?
Oh, there's a bit of echo, but yeah, loud and clear. There are 3 Olgas.
It's weird. Okay. So I'm just going to talk slow.
Sound like you're in an auditorium. Okay, wait, hang on. I think I'm going to turn my mic off.
Sure. Okay. No, it's not going to, it doesn't really help. But anyway, maybe I'll try doing it with that. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Is that better? Okay, beautiful. So, right, guys, my name is Olga, and I'm the Director of Content Marketing at Animatron. And it's so good to see you all here. Thank you all for tuning in to our second webinar in the exclusive series of called How to Craft a Video-First Content Strategy. And I am very excited to introduce our speaker today, whose name is Salma Jafri. And Salma is a YouTube certified video content strategist and an international speaker. And today, Salma will tell us how to create content at scale. And it's going to be 40 plus pieces of content per week from one core idea, which sounds pretty cool because I'd love to learn how to do that. Oh, people were saying that my audio is not up. I hope is that better, Liz? Can't hear. Okay, I'll try to speak up. And anyway, I am going to give the. Okay, thank you, Salma. I am going to give the. Thanks so much for checking, guys. Thanks for letting me know that you can actually hear me just fine. And what's most important is that you can hear Salma when she starts presenting, and because I am sure we're all here to know what Salma's got to say. So thank you all for letting us know where you guys are from. We have people from South Carolina and from Massachusetts, and hi Chuck from Wisconsin, and from India, from all over the world. And just let us know where you've tuned in from. And I'm just going to give the floor to Salma.
I'm taking the floor and the mic. Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Salma Jafri, and I'm a video content strategist. And I'm so excited to be hosting this webinar in partnership with Wave.video. And last time we did this webinar, well, not this exact one, but last week we did a webinar on how to craft a video-first content strategy. We talked all about how to get that core piece of video right, like all the strategies and all the frameworks that you can use. And we talked about the H3 framework, which is the Help Hub Hero framework of content creation. So if you haven't watched that webinar, you can find the replay link for that webinar. I believe it should be in the Wave Facebook group. So just go search for Wave on Facebook. And oh, there it is. There it is. There's also a blog post, and the webinar's link should be there as well. So that will really help you get some context into what we talked about last time. And so today's webinar is a follow-up to that. And today we're going to be talking about, now that you've got your core content created, your core strategy down, you understand how important it is to plan your strategy. Now, how do you scale up? How do you scale that strategy, create that one awesome, lovable piece of content, and get maximum value and mileage and momentum from it? So if that sounds good to you, let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. And let me know that that's something that you want to know. I love the fact that people are logging in from all over the world. Let me know where you guys are logging in from. We have Virginia in the house, India, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, awesome, South Carolina. So absolutely amazing. Let me know where you guys are logging in from. I see some thumbs up coming in, and yes, I see more. I see V signs, victory signs coming in. Yes, awesome, awesome. Key West. All right. So really, I love the fact that you guys are all tuning in. And if you are a content creator, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a marketer, if you are at all interested in creating content at scale for either your business or your clients' businesses, then this webinar is going to be absolutely useful and valuable for you. Awesome. We've got Boston, Dan from Boston. That is so cool. All right, guys. So let's get started. The reason I'm going to start right away is because I have a lot of content to cover, and I'm going to go somewhat fast on this because I'm pretty sure I'm going to go over an hour, and we do want to get in some of your questions at the end. There is a tab there. It's called Ask a Question. So anytime in the webinar, while I'm talking, showing you guys slides or examples, if you have a question at that point, don't save it for later. You might forget it. Type that question in right away. There are two reasons for doing that. One, so that you get that question out of your head onto the screen, and I will be able to take a look at the end of the webinar and see and answer that. The second reason you absolutely want to ask a lot of questions is because we're going to choose one person from the people who ask questions to win a 30-minute consultation with me on video strategy. So that's something that if you're interested in having a one-to-one chat, a 30-minute consultation session with me on video strategy, then ask great questions and yours might just get chosen. Awesome. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, I am going to screen share. And give me just 1 second. We're going to make sure that everything works. I'm going to share my entire screen. Yes. Okay. And Olga, I'm going to need you to come on for just 1 second and let me know that if you can see my screen as well as hear me and everything is clear. And yeah, just let me know.
Yes, I can see just fine.
All right, so you can see the first slide, which is create content at scale, 40 plus pieces from one core idea. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm a video content strategist. I also speak at various conferences, and I also consult and train with companies as a consultant for video strategy. My flagship product is the Be the Media Mastermind, which is a video training academy. And if you type in bethemedia.salmajafri.com, you'll be able to see what all we cover in that training academy. There's a new course released every single month, group monthly calls, and all of that. It's closed right now, but you can get on the waiting list, and then you'll find out when I open it next. I'm also a channel partner for entrepreneur.com. All my videos are syndicated to Entrepreneur, which you'll hear about. And if you want to watch some of my videos, then the number one place to do that is on my YouTube channel. So that's youtube.com/Salma Jafri 76. You can write to me at salmajafri.com/contact. I am YouTube certified. A lot of my content strategies are derived from best practices on Google and YouTube. As you know, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the first largest, which is Google. So what are we going to cover in today's webinar? We're going to start by something called the ripple effect. Okay, it's very interesting. I absolutely love it. Then we're going to go on to the definition of upcycling. I'm going to show you some examples of how I upcycle content at scale. And then we're going to talk about what types of content can you upcycle. So we're going to discuss examples and frameworks and steps. And finally, we're going to end with why is upcycling so effective and so useful, so valuable as a strategy. And if you've never heard of it before, that's fine. You're going to hear it all explained today. And of course, we're going to end with Q&A. So, are you ready? It doesn't change. Content creation is still the #1 marketing challenge that most business owners face. And this has been going on for many, many years. Every year, content marketing reports are put out, and creation is the number one challenge. It is a challenge for me as well. And that is exactly why I created this strategy, because it was a challenge for me to be able to come up with fresh content every day and to be able to make it useful and relevant, and then for it to be shared widely. And all of those were things that used to take up a lot of my time. And I wanted to get strategic, and I wanted to work smarter, not harder. And so that's why I created this strategy that I'm going to share in the webinar today with you guys. Okay, now this is a GIF. I hope you can see it moving. And obviously, you probably have no clue what you're watching right now. So let me explain. This is a GIF from the movie. It's a sci-fi movie called The Core, which probably I'm the only person who's seen it. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this sci-fi movie. And the reason that I'm showing this to you here is because what happens in the movie is that it's really out there, right? So it's Aaron Eckhart and Stanley Tucci, as you can see in the frame here. And what happens is that the Earth's core stops spinning, and this group of scientists have to go down in a special spaceship and restart the core by diffusing a nuclear bomb at the core. Yeah, I know, it sounds fantastical. So it's a really bad movie, but it's kind of like a cult favorite. So what happens when they get to the core, they find out that one nuclear bomb is not going to be enough because the core's density is too low. So they come up with this strategy that you can see on screen of diffusing multiple smaller nuclear bombs, which cause a ripple effect. So it's like one bomb, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. And the timed explosions lead to the core being restarted and gain momentum, right? So how does this relate to your content strategy? So I'm going to show you. So when you are thinking about the ripple effect, you drop a stone in the water or you drop a nuclear bomb on the core of the Earth. What happens is that there is a ripple in space, in water, in whatever, right? So when you drop a piece of content out there on the internet, it causes a ripple, right? Certain people see it, react to it, share it, comment on it, like it. Now, what if you could drop multiple pieces of content in a timed way? What would happen? So let's see. You drop a YouTube video as your core strategy. Then you convert that into a Facebook video. Drop that after a certain number of hours or days have passed. Then you go on Instagram and Twitter and you drop some content bombs there as well. And then you go in all these other areas like blog posts and podcasts and infographics, and there's an endless list. And I'm going to share some of that with you later on in this webinar. And so what happens is that you have started to create multiple ripples. You have started to create a series of timed content explosions that 10x your reach and momentum. Absolutely free. Feel free to tweet this out, because I think this concept is so important, and it really shows how content can be created to build momentum. Because what you really want is for people to be engaged with one piece, then another piece, then another piece. And various audiences are going to find your pieces of content in different places. Some people are going to find it on Instagram, others are going to find it on Facebook, others are going to find it on Twitter or email or your website or YouTube. So people are going to be coming in from all of these different internet assets as well as social media assets that you have established a presence on. And because you have these timed explosions, content explosions happening, you are going to start to build that momentum and restart your core, your core content marketing. And how does that exactly work? So let's see. I hear you. You're going to say that, Salma, this sounds very time intensive. I can't spend all my time creating content because I've got a business to run, right? So what then? It sounds like, okay, you're creating content for all of these platforms and stuff. So how is this scalable? That is exactly where upcycling comes in. And that is the beauty of this strategy. So let's get into what is upcycling. But before we get there, what is it not? So it's often confused with recycling, which is to take something old and reuse it instead of throwing it in the trash. So think cans and plastic bottles and old newspapers, right? So you try and reuse them in some way, but eventually they do end up in trash because eventually that thing will become useless. Upcycling, on the other hand, is to take something old and create something new that is equally or more valuable. Okay, so that is a very key aspect of upcycling. When you are creating all of this content, you are creating something new and valuable, but you are not starting from scratch. And that is where you save time. You do not start from scratch every time. All right, now what's the difference between repurposing and upcycling? So you take a watermelon on Facebook and you show that same watermelon on Instagram and YouTube and your blog and whatever else, right? That's spammy and it's repetitive because it's the exact same content put on multiple platforms. You've done nothing to change it, right? Nothing to make it more valuable. Whereas in upcycling, you're creating, watermelon coolers or watermelon mojitos or something, right? So you are creating something that is going to be standalone and unique. And you're not starting from scratch. So when you're creating a watermelon drink, you already have created the watermelon. And so you are creating something using a part of what you've already created. So what is upcycling? It's when you convert content from one format to another, such as from a video to a blog post, for the purpose of adding value and bringing that piece of content into circulation again. I depicted graphically as an upward spiral. So the reason it's a spiral is because we're utilizing the ripple effect. You're dropping these pieces of content and you're creating these ripples in your industry, in your market, with your audience, right? But then you're also creating value. So it's constantly going up. So the upward spiral denotes the creation of multiple contents, but at the same time, with every piece of content, you are adding value. And that is the key reason why this strategy works. And I want to show you a quick example. What's funny is that this is just from this week. So this is a very recent example of how upcycling can work for you. So on the left is a screenshot from my Instagram account. On the right is some analytics, which we'll get into. So come back to the left. I created this really simple, I wouldn't even call it a graphic. It's just like some text on screen with a colored background, right? And I said, August 2006, two things happened to change my life forever. And I got into this post and I talked about what those two things were, which was that I lost my job in August 2006, and I found out that I was pregnant. And so how did that change my life, and what did I do, and how did I feel? And because it was such an emotional and inspirational post, it did really well. So Instagram said, this post is doing better than 85% of your recent posts, promoted to reach a wider audience. So I said, all right, let's see what that's going to do. So I hit promote, and then the screen on right popped up, and it said, your promotion won't reach this estimate because images with lots of text don't reach many people. And that's when I realized that this graphic, which I'm like ashamed to even call a graphic, is not going to work across other platforms. I can't use this graphic everywhere else. I've got to create something using the same story that I wrote on Instagram. So I literally took my story and then I was like, screw it. I'm going to go make it in Wave. I want to make a video out of this story because people really connected with it. And what better way to make use of this horrible graphic than to actually convert it into a story-based video. And so that's what I did today. And let me show you the result of that. Let me play this for you, full volume. All right, here we go. right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for 1 second and come back over here. All right, so I just wanted to quickly tell you guys that, first of all, I really enjoyed creating that video. Second of all, I took something, yes, yes, I am blushing because, okay, I'm just gonna admit it. It made me kind of emotional to recount the story. And I realized that, yes, it was something that I shared on Instagram in a text format with a lousy graphic, but there's so much more that I can do with this. I could, and I started to think, once I create that as a video, I can maybe put it on my About page, because I want to share my story and, you know, how I started an online business and why I started an online business. Why did I start to work online? What was my motivation and reasons for doing it? And so I was thinking I could put it up on my About page. Then a lot of times when people introduce me in speaking sessions and stuff, this could be like part of my speaker reel or something that they could see, you know. So I started to imagine all the different places where this kind of story could be told and how video really lends itself to emotional storytelling. So this is an example of upcycling, because I took a piece of text and some text on screen, and I converted it into a video that I haven't yet put everywhere, but I intend to use it in a couple of different places to be able to better connect with people. And like you said, you know, video just connects better, right? It's emotional. There's music, there's stuff happening. I put up pictures from my life. I added images and videos from the Wave, extensive Wave library of graphics and videos. Music took me a while to choose the music, because like, just really wanted something that's going to show the ebb and flow of life and the highs and lows. And so, you know, that's something that I feel when you start to think about content as a part of your narrative, as a part of your storytelling, then you can create that story on any platform. And you can literally jump from platform to platform, creating something specific for each platform. All righty. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for your comments. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple of questions that are coming in, right? So Olga saying, great video. Great. Loved your video. So sweet. Felt emotional on this end too. Motion causes emotion. Yeah. I mean, I hope you saw that zoom effect I used. That was intentional. Liz is saying, great example of how to upcycle and use your content in multiple ways. How long did it take you to make the video? I would say it took me about half an hour, but there's a reason for that, and I'm going to share it. I actually storyboarded the video out, and that's something really crucial, which I've come to understand, is that when you are upcycling, you really need to have a very clear strategy. And so you don't just go straight into the software and start doing something. You can, if you're very clear in your head about what you want to do, but I'm going to share the storyboard with you later in this webinar. Actually, I took a screenshot of it, and I'm going to share with you how I planned it all out on paper before I went into Wave and put it all together. And that's why it only took me about half an hour to make it in Wave. I think it would have taken longer if I hadn't planned it out in my head and on paper before. So great question, Liz. All right, guys. Okay, coming back to our little... All righty. So I haven't completed this yet, but what I intend to do is use Wave to create platform-specific formats of this video. So I created right now the 16:9 horizontal version of it, which I intend to put in my Facebook group after this webinar is over. So if you want to watch it again, go there and check it out. I'm also going to be putting a discount code, a 40% discount code, 40% off discount code to Wave.video alongside that video. So if you want to go and check that out and use my code to sign up for it, that will be probably a great discount. So from here, you can see that I'm going to be making a square version of this for Instagram, and I'm also going to be making a vertical 9:16 version of this for Instagram stories. So that's something that I can do in Wave, because once I create the video, then I can start to see how it can fit all of these different platforms. So as you just saw, what happens is that upcycling helps you create fresh content that's derivative. It's not a replica, right? So I created that video, and as a standalone video, it has all the elements complete, right? If you just watch that, you get a complete picture of the story. If you just are on my Instagram and you read my story, that is also a standalone piece of content. So what I do is take that idea, and instead of starting from scratch every time trying to think, okay, what should I create now? I start with core themes, right? And that's something that you're going to see that's really crucial to the strategy. Start with core themes and then visualize how those themes can be adapted to platforms and formats. So I want to share with you how I particularly upcycle content at scale, and then we're going to talk about some examples for you. So I start with my core content theme. And if you watched webinar 1, you'll get some idea of how I plan out my core theme. So again, watch webinar 1 and then come back and watch this webinar again, so you'll have a better idea of how the two go together. So I start by telling myself, okay, I want to create all of these pieces of content, right? So starting from the bottom and then going clockwork, I want to create some YouTube videos. I want to, yes, create Facebook videos, some live videos because they're great for reach. Yes, I want to do some Instagram videos because they have a nice reach that they have. And also it's a nice difference from just images in my Instagram feed. And I also want to, send this video out to my email subscribers. And then why not on Twitter? And then why not on my website as a blog post? So I embed the video there as well. So I start with this idea that, yes, I want to be on all of these platforms. I want to have videos on all of these platforms, but it doesn't end there. That's just the beginning. Then what happens is I start to create this content and I get more ideas what I can do, right? So I start with a themed YouTube video, and that is typically my core piece of content. Now, these videos are typically 5 to 10 minutes long, and so they have a lot of elements happening inside them, right? Then I'm probably going to take that video and make an Instagram 60-second version of it to entice people to come and watch the YouTube video, because that's where I want to drive my audience to. Then I'm going to take a 60-second or sometimes even less, like in this case, it's 20-second version of that video and put it up on Twitter. The shorter, the better, right? For Twitter. Then I'm going to also go inside my Facebook group and I'm going to make a live video around that topic, because what happens is I've set that topic in a very one-dimensional way. It's just me talking to the camera on YouTube, but I want to incorporate what other people's opinions are. And so live video is a great way to get more interactive on that particular topic and to get other people's opinions and comments as a part of your content strategy. Then I would embed this video in a blog post on my website. This is great for ranking on Google, so lots of SEO juice happens. And I can also hyperlink stuff. So other pieces of content I want to link to, places I want to send people to, put my subscribe links in there. So all of that. And also I want to appeal to people who don't want to watch videos. They prefer to read. Right? So I want to make sure that I take my video script and convert that into a blog post. And the way that I do that is typically by taking the script and just making short paragraphs out of that and making sure that each paragraph has a subheading, because people, when they read blog posts, they just scan blog posts often, right? So instead of like reading them, you want to make sure that you have chunky paragraphs, bold subheadings, so people can skim and scan through that. I will also embed the video in email, like I said, and this is like a great way to get people to watch the video because it's just like a one click and then they can watch the video straight from their email inbox. I also syndicate my videos. So I'm syndicated to Entrepreneur. And I also sometimes reach out to specific sites and ask them, hey, do you want to embed my video? I could write you a blog post around it. And, oftentimes people say yes, because it's such an unusual request. Most people just say, I'll write you a blog post. People don't often say, hey, I'll also give you a video. So I I've never heard a no from this strategy. I also use the Q&A site Quora, and I find questions that people are asking in my field, which is video marketing. And if I have a video on that topic, or I'll make a video on that topic and share it on the Q&A site. Also really great for being found in Google because Quora ranks really high. So if you are able to answer questions with videos, then that's just really great for your authority, ranking, traffic, audience, just absolutely everything. Okay, so this is how I end up with 40 pieces of content. And so what I do is I make a mind map of all the pieces of content that I possibly can create. And I know you can't possibly see this too well, so I have a text version in the next slide. So I'm just gonna show you a little bit of this and then we'll go on to the text version. So the purple blocks are showing all my main formats. So that's YouTube videos, live videos, guest posts, email newsletters, images, content upgrades, and blog posts. And then from there, I outline, like, let me give you an example. For example, guest post. So my core theme is live video for branding, right? So I'm talking about live video, and my guest post that I'm going to pitch to somebody is called 10 Personal Brands Killing It with Live Video. Right? So I've already done the research because my core theme is live video. So I'm like looking at who's doing live video well. Let's look at another example, content upgrade, right? On the bottom right-hand corner. So a lead magnet for me from this particular theme could be 20 types of content perfect for live streaming, you know, so something like that. So the essence of upcycling is to get your strategy down pat. You really just want to make sure that you are considering where you want to be, what formats and platforms you want to be on, what kind of content can you create for that particular audience. And so this is the text version of how it looks like. So 4 YouTube videos on whatever my core theme is, then 4 YouTube videos on software or tools or techniques about whatever the core theme is. And I do like tutorial videos. And I mean, that's a great point right now because I'm going to be doing 2 tutorial videos about how to use Wave.video. So again, just be subscribed to my YouTube channel because that's coming up in April. And so that's the kind of stuff that I would be doing on my channel. Then 8 blog posts, and this will be derived directly from either the transcript or the video script that I'll write earlier about the videos. Then 8 so excited, I'm like skipping words. So 8 email newsletters, 1 for each video. 8 live videos, 1 for each topic that I make a YouTube video about. And then the visuals. Now, this is really cool because what I do is I upload custom thumbnails on YouTube, which is a strategy to use to rank better because people like good visuals, as opposed to my horrid Instagram visual. But what I do is I create custom thumbnails in Canva. And then those thumbnails can be used on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, on my blog post as a featured image, on LinkedIn, on Medium, you know, wherever I want to put that video and its corresponding text up. So I can use that thumbnail. And then I would do 2 content upgrades. This is not required. I don't do this for every single video. And then I would do a guest post. Now, these are 43 pieces of content that I would typically create, but the bulk of the work does not happen in the creation. The bulk of the work happens in the planning and the strategy part of it. So let's discuss the strategy. Right? Quick sip of water. How can you start upcycling content? So strategy that I want to show you guys, let me do a quick time check. Okay, actually I'm going pretty fast, half an hour. Okay. Step 1 is to choose your platform. As you saw, I chose all the platforms. You may have noticed that Pinterest was not included in there, that Snapchat was not included in my platforms. And that's because I am actually not on those platforms. I'm not creating content for those platforms. And so I choose the ones that I want to be present on, and then I fully focus on those. So choose where do you want to be present? Where do you get the most traction? And what is the audience looking for on each of these platforms? So, and then what content format can match what the audience wants? So on Instagram, I'm often sharing stories, behind the scenes. I do a lot of Instagram stories about sort of like a live vlog style, what's happening in my day, because that is suited to Instagram stories, right? On Facebook, for example, in my group, I would do live trainings. I do a lot of live trainings because people come, they're part of this small community, part of a closed group, and it's a safe place for me to do live videos because it's like almost training just for that special group of people, right? So I make sure that I use platforms that get me the most traction, but also what the audience on that platform would actually want to see. And this, you can experiment to find this out, or you could just, ask your audience what they want to see. So some examples. So for vertical video, you want to make sure that you shoot in vertical format. And that's great for if you have an audience that is very mobile specific. So if they're on their mobile phones and they're consuming your content more on mobile phones than anywhere else, like desktop or TVs, then you want to be creating vertical videos. If on the other hand, they want in-depth tutorials or how-to stuff, then YouTube's landscape video format would be something that you should look into. And of course, square video for Instagram. And I often use square video for Twitter as well. So this is something you can do inside Wave. You can select all of these video formats for your video. So you can do 4x5 vertical, 2x3, 1x1. You can do carousel ads for Instagram or Facebook. You can do instant articles for Facebook. You can do full portrait 9x16. And then the flip version, 16x9 horizontal. You can do instant 16x9 instant articles, in-stream, and Facebook covers. So you are covered in Wave with the formats and all the different specifications, all the different aspect ratios of the platforms that you want to be on. And so this is sort of like a one-stop solution to create your video once, which is why it's so smart, and then just upcycle it into all of these different formats, and it's ready-made, ready to go. The second step is to choose your length, because remember, each platform has like minimum and maximum lengths that they will prefer, but they also have optimal, like what is actually working, how long a video is working, right? So these are some of the questions you should think about. How long can your video be on each platform? How long are audiences watching on that platform? What kind of content are they watching the longest? And when do their attention spans start to dip? What's the ideal length of a video? So look at these examples. For YouTube, the average length of the top 50 YouTube videos is about 3 minutes. I actually create long form content on YouTube because that works better for my audience. So don't take these figures as, the gospel or something. You want to experiment and see what works for you and your audience. On Facebook, the average length of a top performing Facebook video is about 2 minutes. And I actually agree with that for my audience. For Instagram, again, I absolutely agree with this. 60 seconds is the maximum length of a video clip. So I will keep it between 40 to 60 seconds on Instagram. For Twitter, as you saw, I made like a 20-second video for Twitter. So 15 seconds is supposed to be the optimum micro video length. So these are all the formats and lengths that you can play around with and see what works for your audience. All right. In Wave, what you can also do is while you're editing your video, you can see in the edit section how long your video is. And I find this to be absolutely amazing because while I'm editing, I have no idea if, I'm exceeding the limit or not. And so for this video, I wanted to stay under 60 seconds because I wanted to use it on all of these different platforms, right? And I wanted to make sure it stays under 60 seconds. So while I'm adding video clips and I'm adding graphics and images and stuff to it, I can see in the left corner how long my video is turning out to be. And so I capped this video at 50 seconds and now I can use it everywhere where 60 seconds is the max allowed. So that's also something I love in Wave, that you can see the actual number of seconds or minutes that you are creating a video for, which is super useful for knowing what the platforms are that you can use it on. So love that. Okay, so step 3 is how will you add your CTA? I always forget to add a CTA, like a call to action. So you want to make sure that you remember how and where your call to action is going to be included, because different platforms allow for different kinds of CTAs. And then also, will your CTA be text or audio and text? So what's going to work for you, right? So here's some examples. For Instagram, I often say link in bio. For Instagram stories, if you have over 10,000 subscribers, you could say swipe up, right? For Facebook, I often say link is in the description, because that's how people identify the block of text that comes with each video. For YouTube, I would say click the info card or click the link in description. So there's all these YouTube specific terminologies that I would use to drive people to the CTA. For Twitter, very simple, the link is in the tweet, right? And so this is something, we're again in Wave. And since I often forget to add CTAs, Wave actually reminds me, because in every video and every video screen, it tells me add a CTA at the end, and it gives me all of these different layouts. So I can do a logo and a CTA in a vertical format or a horizontal format. And you can see in this example, I added my logo, which is Be the Media. So it's all very customized, and you get all those branding elements in there. And then I gave people a link to my YouTube channel, because that's where I wanted to drive traffic to. And so I love that about Wave, that they make sure that I remember to add my CTA always. So thank you. All right. Step 4 is to define the context. Now, okay, let's go over these points. So think about, what would people want to see on each platform, and how will they be consuming it? Will they be busy scrolling their feed and stop to watch 2 seconds? Will it be rush hour while they'll be seeing it? Will it be 9 a.m. in the morning as they're getting ready for work? Try and imagine your customers, your audience. Where would they be? In what context are they going to be consuming your content? Will they be required to take immediate action? Will links be clickable? Right? What will the perspective be that you're going to bring to that video? What kind of story are you going to be telling? So this is something I directly thought about when I was making my my story video that I just showed you in the beginning part of this webinar, that I wanted to make sure that the story I told on Instagram is something that I can translate to video. So what is the context around that? I wanted it to be emotional. So I chose music and all that stuff to add context and emotion to that. And remember, I said earlier that I'm going to share my storyboard. So this is it. So I use this template, which is super handy, and you can make your own. It's what it does is that it allows you to plan your videos out. So my first screen, I knew I'm going to set the stage. So August 2006, wedding music, my sister's wedding happening, my picture there at the wedding. Little did I know that my life was about to change in just the next few days. Next screen. Okay, the same wedding picture, but now we have text overlay happening. I'm about to lose my job, and I'm about to find out that that home pregnancy test I took had 2 blue lines on it, all within the span of a few days, right? Then comes the conflict. All right, now, am I going to lose my income stream? Am I going to not be working anymore? But yay, I'm having a baby. I'm conflicted, right? Then a quote. What do I turn to for inspiration? Okay, is this a problem? Well, every problem can be an opportunity depending on how I look at it. How can I turn this into something that could be meaningful for me? Then the 3 decisions in the next 3 screens. Okay, I'm not going to look for another job. I am quitting 9 to 5 once and for all after working in corporate for 9 years. Big decision. I'm going to be a full-time mom. Big decision. I'm going to work online. Big decision. Euphoria. And then finally, the conclusion, which is, it has been an amazing journey. It has worked out. 11 years. I have been working online. This is my 3rd business. It wasn't successful right from the start. I had to test and experiment and try things out and struggle. And there were hard years and all of that. But here we are today. And then, the last few images are of my family. And so when you plan it out in this way, that is how you can then go to Wave and find images that complement the story that you're trying to tell, and also the music that complements the mood of the story that you're trying to tell. So super powerful stuff here. The next thing you want to think about, I hope you guys are enjoying this webinar so far. I'm going to come to the questions and going to see your chat in a bit. So let me know if you are enjoying it, okay? Just let me know. Step 5 is you have to think about audio and transcriptions. So again, will people be turning their audio on? Will they not be turning their audio on? Can they still consume your content and get the gist of it? And what I want to show you here. Okay, so this is a video. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is a video that shows how it's not necessary to have speaking audio because all the text is appearing on screen. So watch this. So really short example. I think this was like about 42 seconds. There we go. And really quick example of showing how you can make sure that people consume your content, even if they decide not to turn the audio on. So if you are on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, audio is not going to be turned on automatically as default, right? So you want to make sure that you have explanatory text happening with the video. And so therefore people can choose to turn it on or not, either way. Oh, here we go. Okay, something else you want to think about. So in audio and transcription, something else you want to think about is branding. So what I do, this is Wave again. So what I've done is I've uploaded my custom font. So I use a basic font called Humanist. You can see all of the various, typographies of that. And then my second font is Vendetta. Right. So those are my brand fonts. So when I'm thinking about transcriptions and text coming on screen, I want to make sure that that text is in my brand fonts, because all of those elements combine to make people remember you, because they see the same kind of fonts, the same kind of brands, the same logo, the same the same graphics, the same color schemes over and over again. And that helps with your branding and memorability. So that's something you can do in Wave. You can upload all your custom fonts, your custom logos, all of that to it. All right. The sixth and final step is how will you measure results? So will it be video impressions, for example? Would it be engagement? Engagement could be watch time, could be comments, whatever. Would it be shareability? So I think that you have to understand before you start to create content, what does success look like to you? How will you actually say that you're successful? And to know what success looks like, you have to know how you're going to measure your results. A video-first strategy allows you to create more content from one video in a smart, valuable way. I find that to be true. And like I said, all of the hard work goes in the strategy and the planning, and then you can just create content really fast. All right, so I'm going to go through some types of content that you can create using my upcycling formula. All right, so this is a list of about 20. So we're just going to go through this list real quickly, okay? So you need to start by planning serialized content. And what do I mean by that? Go watch webinar 1 to know how to create series-based and thematic content. That's going to make your content creation so much easier, because you're not going to have to think about what do I create next, because you will have a central theme and things are going to be related to that theme. So much easier to come up with content ideas. Then you want to look at what's performed well for you in the past, right? Then you want to at least start with a weekly authority video that you can upcycle into 5 to 7 pieces of other formats and platforms. You want to be able to extract data, there's a typo there, extract data from videos to turn into thumbnails, graphs, charts, images. You also want to create images from the video. Remember, we're starting with video. So you want to create images from the video using quote cards. You can do memes, you can do GIFs, all of that. All right. Number 6, create 60-second videos. One of my favorite ones. Create 60-second videos for social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Do live videos, expanding on the existing video and asking for audience input. Create content upgrades or lead magnets from your video content. Maybe interview somebody on the topic or get interviewed yourself. And I've done this so many times in the past. Convert your video into a podcast. You can upload it to iTunes, to Stitcher, to Anchor.fm, to SoundCloud, so many platforms. You can create a presentation, embed it in SlideShare, and then embed it in LinkedIn, because LinkedIn owns SlideShare now. And apparently presentations do really well there. You can hold a webinar on the topic of your video. You can create challenges, contests, and quizzes around the content of your video. You can create an online course. Maybe if you do 8 videos, put them together, and that's your course. And similarly, combine them into an ebook. So again, do 8 videos on the same topic, combine them into an ebook, right? You could hold a telesummit by asking a few other content creators to come and join you. You could give speeches on the topics of that you're creating videos on. You could do guest posts. You could do infographics. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just some ideas to get you started, but this is not the end. This will depend on what more you can come up with, and you can come up with a lot. So why is upcycling such an effective way to create content? So here we come to my scarf strategy. You guys ready for this? All right. So what is the scarf strategy? It basically takes the concept of having a basic outfit, dressing it up in all of these different ways. So think about it. The outfit that she's wearing, the basic black outfit she's wearing, is your core content. That's your core piece of strategized, intentional content that you want to create, that you've put thought and a lot of planning into. Now you want to dress it up for all of these different platforms, right? So you're not starting from scratch, but you're thinking, okay, would this look better as a skirt on Facebook? Maybe as a dress on Instagram, or maybe as a top on Twitter, right? So what this strategy does, it's an analogy, of course, but what it does is that it allows you to think in terms of saving time, adding value, making it fresh and looking new every single time, so that your audience sees something fresh and new every single time, and you have added value, and it's a standalone piece of content for you and for your brand. So I think there's a lot of value there. And I think that this works if you start by creating something so good that you ask yourself, what more can I do with this? That's exactly what happened when I wrote that Instagram post. It was heartfelt. It was in the moment. It felt like something I needed to say. It did well in the algorithm. And so I asked myself, what more can I do with this? Like, if this is something that people are feeling inspired by, how can I reach more people and help them also see that they could have an online business, that they could start with video marketing to build their personal brand? So if you're loving what you're creating, then it becomes easy to ask yourself, what more can I do with this? How else can I say this? What other platform needs to hear this? What other audience is going to benefit from this message? Follow me on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Salma Jafri 76. If you enjoyed this webinar, you want to see more of my videos. I do marketing strategy, personal branding, video marketing, all that fun stuff. And I also have a Facebook group called Personal Branding with Video. Just type in Personal Branding with Video on Facebook and request to join. And remember to answer the 2 questions that I ask. And you can find me in all of these other places. I'm going to send the slide deck of this to Wave, and if you're registered and you've given them your email address, then you should be able to see all of this in the slide deck. And so now let's break for Q&A. I'm going to stop my slide share, my screen share, come back in here. All righty. Where are we? Okay, catching up on, wow, so there are 11 questions that have come in. All right. Olga, are you coming on to help me?
Yeah. I hope.
Yay!
Is that better?
Sorry? Yeah, I can hear you.
Well? Okay. That was a brilliant webinar. I actually love the scarf analogy. That's just awesome.
That's one of my favorite ones. There's also a little black dress analogy, but I was like, okay, I'm stuffing in way too much in this webinar, and I'm going to go over time. But I actually finished like 5 minutes with time to spare, so that's really good.
Yeah, you were just perfect. You were just perfect timing.
Awesome.
So, okay, I'm just gonna try to switch the microphone and see if that's better. Okay, we do have a bunch of questions, and thank you guys for asking all of those. And let's see. Okay, so Liz is asking us a question on Facebook. So Liz is on Facebook in multiple groups, and she's wondering if she shares the same post on her page and in all of the groups. Is she going to get less share than if she changes the post for each of the groups she's sharing it in?
All right, great question, Liz. So like you, Liz, and like so many people here, I'm also in multiple Facebook groups. And I also like to share my videos sometimes, or just, text posts in various groups. But I am careful not to share the exact same copy, image, graphic on every post at the same time. So now there are two things here. First of all, the exact same thing at the same time. So what happens then if somebody is also a part of all those groups, they're going to see like a line of spammy content in their newsfeed from you, like 4 exact same posts from you. And they're going to be like, this person has lost it. So you don't want to do that, right? So what you could do is, if it's the exact same thing, time it out over different intervals. So maybe one day share in one group, then give it a rest for 2 days, then go and share it in another group, right? So you want to space that out. The other thing, which is something I love to do, is if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see that I share, and I've recently started to do this, I share the same video twice, once in the morning, once in the evening, but I change up the first 2 sentences of that video, because the first 2 sentences are what people see before they decide to click, right? So I change the hook. Why should you watch this video? I change why. And typically, because if it's a good video, there'll be many reasons to watch it. So you can go with, so that's one way of changing it up, not being spammy, and not giving yourself too much of a hard time to start to create it from scratch every single time. So just make little tweaks and then share away. Okay, Olga, your audio is not good now. Yeah. Would you like me to read the questions and answer them?
Mm-hmm. To speak slowly. I think it might be better if you read the questions, because I think there's something going on with my computer today.
Okay, so
but I'm here in case you need me.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start from the bottom, right? Is the bottom the newest one or the oldest question?
I think they're all just kind of.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to take a question from somebody who's asking, what software or app do you use for mind mapping? So I use a software called bubble.us. That's BUBBL.US. I don't think there's an E in Bubble, but I'll confirm that. I mean, there's so many mind mapping softwares, it doesn't really matter, right? So, okay. What is a content upgrade? Great question. So content upgrade is a freebie that you offer to your audience as a way to get more in-depth information from you. So it could be a checklist, a template, a cheat sheet, a training video, an ebook, whatever is something that will help them get more into the content in a more in-depth way. And typically a content upgrade is offered in exchange for an email address. So you send them the freebie, they give you your email address. And that's how you build your email list with targeted people who actually want that content and who care about wanting it. All right. So I didn't understand this question. It says embed YouTube video. Yes, you can embed each. So if you go to YouTube and you've uploaded a video, there's an option that says embed YouTube video. You can share it, you can embed it, and then you go to WordPress or wherever you're working, LinkedIn, LinkedIn Pulse, blog post on LinkedIn, Medium, wherever, and you put in there various ways of sharing that YouTube video, but you can embed a YouTube video pretty much everywhere. Yeah. Can you edit existing videos in Wave? So if you've upcycled and changed its size, can you also change the content a bit? And I see Wave has already answered absolutely. Yes, you absolutely can do that. Okay, I got a little lost. Your 43 pieces came from one topic or from 8 topics? Great question. Okay, so the topic that I showed an example of was live videos for personal branding. So that was one topic. It's one playlist on my YouTube channel, but there are lots of videos on that topic, right? So the topic is one thing. It's how live video strategies for personal branding. And then all of those 43 pieces came from that one topic, which is why it's so important to nail that one core topic or strategy. Shirley is asking, okay, where do you syndicate a video feed? So you can do it, for example, on sites like Business to Community. If you are embedding your video as a blog post and you have a relevant category, they have lots of categories, by the way, in which they syndicate blog posts. So you could reach out to them and they have like a very specific process. They'll take a look at your content, see if it matches their audience, and all you have to do is set up the syndication once. And then every single time you post a new blog post with a new video embedded, they're going to also share it on their website. So that's one place. Then you could syndicate it yourself on places like Medium, on Quora, on LinkedIn, so those are all the places you could do it yourself. What you could do is reach out to other magazines and ask if they'd be interested in a syndication deal. And if there's a good match between content and audience, then it might work out. Thank you. Okay, so Michelle is asking, thank you. How do you get that 40% off code again? So Michelle, join my Facebook group, Personal Branding with Video. As soon as this webinar ends, I'm going to go there, upload the video that I just made with Wave, and either in the comments or in the description, I'm going to share that code. I'm not sharing it right now because I have to look it up. It's somewhere in my email. And so then I'm going to go do it. All right. Okay, where did the comments go? Oh, they're going into answered. I'm like, why are they disappearing? All right. So Anuri is asking, I'm a small YouTuber, very small. Will this help in any way? I am curious to see how this works. So Anuri, great question. And you will be happy to know that I started using this strategy when I had less than 1,000 YouTube subscribers, which I think is as a small YouTube user, because what happens is that there's 2 ways to promote on YouTube. There's search, and then there's upcycling. So search will get you traffic in the first 24 to 48 hours. If you've got your tags and your meta description worked out, your thumbnails are great, your video starts to rank because of all of those reasons, right? So that's stuff you control. But then after those 24 to 48 hours are over, search may not be driving as much traffic to your YouTube channel. So therefore, you need to expand your repertoire of promotional channels and start upcycling your content so that you start to draw traffic from all those other places back to your YouTube channel. And that's how I grew, right? That's exactly how I grew. So it's perfect for small YouTubers. All right, Billy Johnson Jr. is asking, over what time frame would you release the 40 pieces of content? So this was over a month. But I don't really think there's any limit, really. It would depend on your audience completely. Like I was doing 1 post a day on LinkedIn until I saw a statistic that said you should be posting twice on LinkedIn. So I would say experiment, so now I'm experimenting. So there is no arbitrary number that I would say. I do it on a monthly basis, but you can do it depending on what works for you. And the last question, Liz is asking, what is an authority content video? So authority is subjective, but to me, it means something that establishes my expertise in an area that I want to be known for. So I want to be known for video marketing. As long as I'm helping personal brands and entrepreneurs understand how to use video marketing, then to me, that is an authority content video. If I've helped, if in the comments people say, this was helpful, this was valuable, I learned something new, and I'm the one who taught it to them, then that becomes an authority content video for me, because then they're going to share it out and say, hey, check this out. Look at this strategy, you know, and then if I'm the one giving it, then I'm the authority. Great question. Okay, Casey is asking, does Wave save your questions even though they disappear as you answer them? They're not disappearing. They're just going into the answer tab. And I just realized this myself. Right, Olga? They're not disappearing, right? Yeah, okay. All right, Shirley is asking, do you make all 8 videos in one session and create the other content and then distribute over the month, or make during the month? Oh, awesome question. So I fully believe in the power of batch recording. So what I do is I try and record 4 core pieces of video in one day. And it typically takes me around 4 hours to make these 4 videos, including hair and makeup, outfit, setting up, gear, equipment, all of that. Sending the kids to their grandmother, all of that.
We're having trouble with the connection. I hope Salma can get back on later. Anyway, while we're waiting for...
Do you want me to repeat my answer? Yes? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Yes. Okay. All right. So what I do is batch record 4 videos in one day, right? So what I do is I take out, okay, and before I batch record, I take out a few hours to script my videos. And I don't read the script word for word. The reason I script my videos is to make sure I stay on point and I know where I'm going with this. What's going to be the CTA at the end? How does this tie in? How does this build my business? So I take time out to script each video, write down the topics I want to cover in each video. Then I batch record my YouTube videos. So I typically take out 4 hours to shoot 4 videos, which is my content for the entire month, because I release on a weekly schedule. And so I will make sure that in those 4 hours, hair, makeup, outfit, setting up the camera, gear, equipment, all of that, make sure the kids are taken care of. They usually go to their grandmothers. And, you know, I make sure that I have that time to batch record videos, right? Then the videos are edited in a batch as well. So if you have one template, so you can edit the videos faster because you know the transitions you want to use. You know how you want the text to come in and all of that. So it just makes the process a lot easier. As far as distribution is concerned, once I've created this content, so 4 hours for scripting, 4 hours for filming, and then 4 hours for editing. So I could do this over the course of 1 to 3 days. Then I'm good for 30 days. I'm good for the entire month. Then all I have to do is distribute the content, create more upcycle pieces depending on, you know, what I want to do with it. And so it just becomes a lot easier. And every day I'm not creating something from scratch. I'm taking that video and maybe I take out a 20-second chunk, put it up on Twitter. That's like very simple and easy and fast for me to do because the core has been created and I take out those 1 to 3 days to make sure that I spend time on that core video. Okay, Mike Moran is asking, I use Buffer to share the same content over 3 platforms at the same time. Does that change your outlook on sharing the same content? In fact, that they are 3 different platforms. So I think this is related to the other question somebody asked on multiple content on Facebook groups. So I would say use Buffer to schedule out your posts. Don't share multiple pieces over and over again in that same time frame. So if you've had a promotional tweet, then the next 2 tweets could be educational or somebody else's content, and then do your promotion again. So when somebody looks at your Twitter feed or whatever platform feed they're on, they don't see a list of the same content over and over and over again being shared. So that would be my answer. 14 questions answered. Woo! And it is 8 minutes past the hour for me. Olga, hand it over to you.
All right, thanks so much for answering all the questions. That was it was an incredible webinar, and it is going to be available on our YouTube channel once we finish and upload it there. So thanks so much, Salma, for conducting the webinar today, and it was helpful and outstanding as usual. And thank you all for tuning in. And we'll follow up with the blog post, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as Salma. There is some bits there.
Be sure to look out on my Twitter feed, because I want to screenshot all these amazing comments and put them up.
Yeah, and you guys have been great with questions today, and
I've loved every single question. Every single question. And we're going to be choosing a winner from here, and Wave will notify you by email as to who gets the video strategy. I'm pumped. Check in my Facebook group for the 40% off discount code for Wave.video. It is absolutely a useful, valuable tool, saves me time, makes me more creative, especially the music part. Oh my gosh, that is turning out to be one of my favorite features, because I go nuts choosing, okay, the music has got to be perfect. It's got to convey the right emotions. And your music library is huge. And so I absolutely, that's turning out to be my favorite part right now.
Yeah, I love it too. In fact, I think I can, to make a video, because I get lost in choosing all the video clips and audio clips and stuff.
Oh my gosh, Olga, you have got to start storyboarding your videos.
That's right.
You should start doing that. Every time I know exactly what I want to say and what I want up on screen, then I go to Wave, I type in a keyword, and typically I don't even have to scroll. It'll be in the first couple of 10 results up there, because if you can get really narrow and focused on what visual you want people to see, like for the baby image, I was very clear. I wanted feet, toes, mom kissing, toes. That's what I typed in, and that's exactly what came up. So as specific as you can get.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, Salma, thanks so much for your time today, and thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll be back with more great videos later.
Yeah, and look out on my YouTube channel for 2 tutorials on how to use Wave. That's going to be coming up in April. So again, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and be in the Facebook group to get the discount code as well.
Right.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.